Thanks, Sophie. You're watching South East Today. Our top story tonight, the worst moment of our lives. The parents of a toddler violently attacked by a dog while trick-or-treating tell us about the trauma they've experienced.
I just remember him hitting the floor and then losing sight of him as he was dragged backwards through the group of children. And then all the children were screaming.
The Prime Minister says the arrest of a man accused of supplying small boats to people smugglers is significant in reducing channel crossings. We're in Dover tonight with more details.
With the cost of restoration here at Brighton's Royal Pavilion exceeding expectation, the pressure is now on for even more fundraising.
And Strictly Panto, Maisie Smith chats to us about appearing on stage this Christmas in Canterbury. Welcome to the programme. I'm Ellie Crisell. First tonight, the parents of a toddler who was attacked and seriously injured by a dog when they knocked at a door while trick-or-treating on Halloween have spoken of the pain and trauma their family has experienced, describing it as the worst moment of their lives. 2-year-old Alfred suffered a shattered jaw after the incident in Bexhill. Police are now investigating. A warning, you may find some of the content in Leanne Rinney's report upsetting.
That's it. Beep, beep, beep. Beep, beep, beep.
Since Alfred was attacked by a dog, he's become too frightened to leave the safety of his own home. He has a metal plate holding his jaw together and has lost several teeth, which makes it hard for him to eat. Stitches now cover what were 2 huge holes in his cheek and chin.
Knocked on the door, it had pumpkins outside. So obviously code of conduct, trick-or-treating, you only go to places that are decorated, pumpkins. They answered the door with a tray of sweets and it just happened so quickly. And I just remember him hitting the floor and then losing sight of him as he was dragged backwards through the group of children. And then all the children were screaming. We were only a few steps behind, but it just happened so quick.
That was the most horrifying time of my life. I thought I failed as a father because of my job is to protect my kids. I'll do anything for my kids. And I thought I failed at that time. So I was downbeat, but like when I saw his eyes, then, as I say, I knew we could get this sorted.
It was terrifying.
It's the hardest thing ever I've been in my life, ever.
Dog attacks in the southeast are on the rise. In 2018, there were around 2,000 offences recorded where a dog was dangerously out of control, causing injury. By last year, the number had risen to nearly 2,900. That's an increase of more than a third over that period.
You can buy special gates that attach so that when you open the door, there's like a automatic little fence between you and the outside world. The dog can still see out and people can see in, and you can pass parcels and give people treats or whatever you're doing, but the dog is safe.
Sussex police say the dog that attacked Alfred was seized and put to sleep, and they're now investigating.
Ideally, we would want everybody to have a poster or a sign in their door that says beware of the dog, or there is a dog that lives here, just to make people aware.
The family also want to raise awareness of the things people should do if a dog won't release its grip, because they say they know how lucky they are that Alfred survived. Leanne Rinney, BBC South East Today, Bexhill.
A man suspected of being a significant supplier of small boats equipment to people smugglers has been arrested in Amsterdam. It follows a joint operation by the National Crime Agency and Dutch and Belgian police. The Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer, says the arrest is a significant piece of the jigsaw in tackling channel crossings.
There is a serious issue in people smuggling, and that the only way to deal with it is to take down the gangs, the groups that are running this vile trade. We've been bearing down on law enforcement here and working with international partners, and this shows that approach is bearing fruit.
Well, Oliver Whitfield-Miocic is in Dover for us this evening. Hello, Oliver. What more do we know about this investigation?
Ellie, the authorities are accusing this 44-year-old Turkish man of operating out of Germany, where he not only stored the small boats, but also the engines and the life jackets, which he would then send to people smugglers right across northern France. He's now due to be extradited to Belgium, where he's going to face human trafficking charges. Now, the Prime Minister there, you heard him talking about those latest developments, but he also had the warning that this isn't a silver bullet. That's because Sir Keir Starmer knows that critics of the government will say making one arrest amongst a huge people smuggling network is hardly smashing the gangs, which is the government's stated aim for dealing with the small boats crisis. The National Crime Agency, though, says it's working with its European counterpart. It's got 70 investigations into people smuggling on the go at the same time, and it certainly sees yesterday's arrest in the Netherlands as a win.
This individual has been suspected of being one of the most prolific suppliers of engines, boats and other maritime equipment to cross-channel smugglers. The material will be shipped from Turkey, then stored in Germany before being brought to northern France, where they would be sold on to human smuggling gangs.
Ellie, 18 small boats were detected in the channel over the past week. The government says it's ploughing more money into border security, doubling the budget to £150 million. But with more than 32,000 crossings and over 50 deaths in the channel in the past year alone, it's clear that the authorities have still got a long way to go.
Oliver, thank you. Delays in verifying the password of an engineer allowed to work remotely contributed to air traffic control problems which disrupted hundreds of flights in August, an inquiry has found. More than 700,000 passengers were affected when flights were grounded at airports, including Gatwick, following a technical glitch. The inquiry's report recommended that National Air Traffic Services should give earlier notice to airlines and airports of possible disruption. 2 swimming pools are to shut in Eastbourne as the borough addresses what it calls exceptional financial challenges. Just 1 of 3 pools will be kept open at the Sovereign Centre, despite more than 5,500 people signing a petition opposing the closures. Parking charges will also rise. Next, to the fundraising appeal to rescue parts of Brighton's iconic Royal Pavilion from decay. Those running the tourist attraction say wood in its famous domes has now rotted to such an extent that they urgently need more donations for repairs. Built in stages between 1787 and 1823 as the seaside pleasure palace of King George IV, it's said to cost around £900,000 a year just to maintain the building. And as Chrissy Reedy now reports, after having already raised £30,000, the venue says it needs another £50,000 to save it.
What have we got here? Are you going to take this timber down further?
Restoration of the roof and domes at Brighton's Royal Pavilion has been ongoing since April. But phase 4 of the work on this historic building has uncovered substantial rot in one of the domes.
This is something which has been a voyage of discovery, a sympathetic voyage of discovery, because this is the original structure built since 1823. So this is the first time it's been uncovered.
So how complicated is the work really that you're undertaking?
The work is complex because we don't have any drawings to refer to, we have nobody to talk to.
What, John Nash didn't leave you any?
No, unfortunately not, and he's long since gone.
When it was initially constructed, a mishmash of materials were used that really weren't the best. So the limestone reacts with the salt, of course here we are at the coast, and then the stucco render that was used was prone to moisture and erosion. So it's really a surprise the building has lasted this long at all.
For the charitable trust behind this iconic landmark, rising costs means more fundraising as it needs to find an additional £50,000.
And we're now up against time because obviously we've started the work, we need to do it before winter sets in. So we are appealing again. Anyone, we're so grateful for everyone who helped us last time, but anyone who can help us again, or any new people can help us, we would be so grateful, and you will be contributing to the Royal Pavilion looking brilliant for years and years and years to come.
The former royal residence was designed by architect John Nash as a summer retreat for King George IV and went on to be used as a hospital in the First World War.
It is so different to anything else in this city. These were two incredibly creative people who didn't need to care very much about money. So there was John Nash, the architect, and George IV, then Prince Regent. But these sort of visions have to be created with materials, and these are the materials that are now disintegrating 200 years on.
It's the first time the Royal Pavilion roof has been restored. With enough funding, it's hoped this iconic building will be here for another 200 years. Chrissy Reedy, BBC South East Today, Brighton.
Now, we're all familiar with the Horizon scandal at the post office, but some sub-postmasters in the South East say there's another issue, just as scandalous. It concerns the introduction of a new way of paying them called the Network Transformation Project, which they claim has left them earning, in some cases, less than minimum wage. Under the scheme, which started in 2012, sub-postmasters are paid per transaction rather than receiving a fixed salary. Claudia Sabasis explains.
Hello, can I get 8 first class stamps, please? Yes, thank you.
The post office has always been part of Kate Richmond's life.
It's been running as a post office since 1943. Originally it was two halves. One side was the bakery and the other side was all different things.
Her grandfather bought it in 1942. Her father took over in 1969 and she began running it in 2009. But Kate Richmond says she's facing closure simply because the post office is no longer viable.
It will be very sad, but unfortunately, financially, we may have to make that decision, which we don't want to do, but we are not employees. We are all self-employed. We don't get holiday pay, sick pay, and we don't even earn a minimum wage.
Kate says the problems began after the post office introduced something called the Network Transformation Programme.
We were promised at the time that we would all have new services added, like train tickets, cinema tickets, frontline for the government, but none of this came into fruition. And then what actually happened was more and more got withdrawn from the post offices, so we don't get anywhere near the pay that we used to get sort of 10 years ago.
While the formal inquiry surrounding the Horizon scandal nears its end, the National Federation of Sub-Postmasters is calling this the next Horizon scandal.
The simple fact of the matter is through Horizon, we know that the attitude of Post Office towards postmasters was detrimental. And here we have, at exactly the same time as Horizon was going on, another programme by exactly the same people who were involved in Horizon were encouraging postmasters to convert, or forcing postmasters to convert. And indeed, in some cases, we've heard the word bully postmasters into converting. So yes, it is another Horizon scandal.
The government says it's in active talks with the post office to enable their plans to put postmasters at the centre of the organisation and to strengthen the post office network for its long-term future.
What I really would like to see is that, we would get proper pay.
But it's too little, too late. Kate Richmond says her children would love to take over. It's been in their family for more than 80 years, but they feel there's just no future in it. Claudia Sabasis, BBC South East Today, Folkestone.
Well, we've heard there a statement from the government, but we should make it clear we did ask the post office to comment too, but they declined. We can speak to our reporter Hannah Rowe for more on this. Hello, Hannah. We've had some developments today because we understand a Sussex post office branch is to close.
Yeah, it's not guaranteed that any of these are going to close. It is important to say that basically what the post office is doing is they're going to review their various branches that are losing money. That's 115 of them. They say they're looking at a strategy to try and even out the finances, get on a firmer footing. That's going to include looking at getting a bigger retailer like WH Smith's or somebody like that to take those post offices in and amalgamate them. So the post office is in Bexhill, that's the one that's under review. It's the Devonshire Square branch. Now the local MP there, Kieran Mullen, he says that it simply cannot close. It's too important to the town and too important to those in rural areas around Bexhill who absolutely rely on it.
One to watch, Hannah. Thank you very much. Now, it is creeping up to 10 to 7, a reminder of our top story tonight. The parents of a toddler who was attacked and seriously injured by a dog when they knocked at a door while trick-or-treating on Halloween have spoken of the pain and trauma their families experienced, describing it as the worst moment of their lives. 2-year-old Alfred suffered a shattered jaw after the incident in Bexhill. Also in tonight's programme... Mr Maker brings his magic to the stage in Canterbury. He's here to chat to us about his panto role in Beauty and the Beast this Christmas.
And it's more settled over the next couple of days, but turning more unsettled again on Sunday. It's going to be cold though, as we look to next week. I'll have more for you coming up.
Now, don't look behind you. Panto season is creeping up on us fast. Oh yes, it is. With a heady mix of fun, farce and festive fabulousness. Pantomimes are the lifeblood of the South East's theatres, accounting for around 40% of their annual revenue. In a moment, we'll talk songs and slapstick comedy with 2 stars gracing the stage in Canterbury, actor Maisie Smith and Phil Mr Maker Gallagher. First, let's see them in action.
I know of no legal impediment to my marrying Caden Baker.
Caden!
Shut it.
And a half-eaten biscuit. We don't need this. Scraps, it's you. What are you doing here? Oh, really? Take this biscuit back and see if you can find me a pen, OK? Off you go.
Well, Maisie Smith and Phil Gallagher, aka Mr Maker, thank you so much for joining us. It's
Thank
very
you.
exciting to have you both here.
Oh, I'm very excited. I'm a Kent boy.
Oh, no, you're not.
I'm a big fan, Ellie, a big fan of the show. My mum and dad are watching. They're very excited.
You're a Gillingham supporter as well, I hear.
Up the Jills!
Oh, there we go.
I'm trying to get Maisie to come and see the Jills. She's not quite there yet. I'm working on it.
But you're going to be around for a while because Panto's starting when?
We start a week tomorrow. Yeah, so we're in rehearsals at the moment, but it's been great fun.
Does that make you nervous?
Oh yes, I mean I'm just a nervous person. Any show I do, I always feel so nervous.
You never know.
I've told my family don't come on opening night because I'm so nervous. But yeah, I can't wait. The show is incredible.
And this is your first Panto, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, I know. I'm very, very lucky to be doing my first Panto with such an incredible team of people.
Yeah, I have to say it's very annoying because I've been doing pantomime for 20 years. Maisie Smith comes in, her first attempt, she's smashing it out of the park. She's so talented, it's amazing. On her first go. She is, she's amazing. She's going to lead our cast. We've got such a brilliant, talented cast. Maisie is incredible, and I urge everyone to come and see her. She can sing, she can dance, and she is so funny. The only thing is, she's not going to come watch the Jills yet, but we're working on that still.
Panto, obviously, it's a huge amount of fun. It's often for children the first time they've been to the theatre, isn't it? Is it as much fun to perform as it is to watch?
Yeah, I was saying this on the way that I actually don't know how I'm going to stop myself from laughing on stage because it's just brilliant. Like, it's hilarious. And I mean, I've always been such a Panto fan. Me and a group of 20 of my Smith family always go to the Panto every year, so it's going to be really fun to actually be the one in Panto this year.
Yeah, that's it. We become a family backstage and on stage. And the thing about the Canterbury Panto, it's become legendary because the show is for the audience, it's for the people of Canterbury, for the people of Kent. Every year it gets more spectacular. And it's incredible.
And the theatres have had a rough few years, haven't they? We reported, I sat here last Christmas before, talking about how Pantos were cancelled, theatres were losing so much money. This year it feels to me like it's back. It's back with a bang. And you were telling me before we came on air, you've sold so many tickets already virtually sold out for the whole run.
That's right, and actually our run has been extended, so we've been very lucky. We're going through till January the 12th this year, but the tickets are selling faster than ever. So we feel very privileged, very privileged to be in the show. It's incredible, and we've got wonderful, talented people around us. We've got award-winning people. We've got the best dame in the country. Now, I am biased because he's a friend of ours, but Ben Roddy is the funniest dame you'll ever see, and he won the award for Best Dame last year at the UK Pantomime Awards. Yeah, award-winning dame. We've got Chris Wong, who's our musical director. Wongy, his 30th year as musical director.
And you've got some good sets, good costumes, because
well, you can talk about the iconic Belle costume.
I don't think I've ever seen
How big's
a
the
dress
hoop?
so
Could
big.
you sit down on this sofa wearing the hoop?
Yeah.
It is like a metre each side.
I love it.
It's brilliant. And I mean, we had to choreograph a dance to it. And I was like, how am I going to do this? But yeah, it's brilliant. The costumes look amazing. The set is just magical. It's everything you could imagine Panto to be.
Yeah, there's lots of surprises as well. That's the thing. It's the thing with the Canterbury Panto. It is spectacular, but there's a beautiful story at the centre of it, of which Maisie leads Beauty and the Beast, and it's the first time in I think over 25 years that Beauty and the Beast has been performed as a pantomime in Canterbury. So it's going to be something really unique.
Amazing, and it's opening in just over a week. So frantic last-minute rehearsals.
That's right.
Best of luck, or break a leg, as they say, of course.
Thank you so
Maisie
much.
Smith, Phil Gallagher, thank you so much for coming to talk to us.
Thank you.
Now, it's all happening because it's Children in Need tomorrow, and every day this week we have been looking at how the money you've donated over the years is being spent. Today we're in Brighton, where Project Female works with teenage girls. It's a difficult time being a teenage girl, a lack of confidence, worries about safety often holding girls back. But through dancing they're finding a new way to feel good and express themselves, as Sarah Smith reports.
Ready? 5, 6, 7, up.
I think dancing is just a way to release your emotion. If I dance, I just feel calmer.
It is like a joy to be able to dance. It's such a freeing thing to do.
These teenage girls have got things to say, but it's not always easy to speak up. Through dancing, they're finding their voices.
The teenage years are rough. So for us, the need is making sure that they have like appropriate role models, and they don't have to say yes to everything, and they can have an opinion, and they can be loud, and that's okay to like stand out.
That Project Female, I feel like I can just be myself without having anyone judge me. As I get through the doors, hi Ellie, I feel like, oh yeah, I'm finally at my second home.
Just take a moment to think about how you're feeling today, how you're doing today.
We'll have like a mental health check-in at the beginning of each class.
Maybe you've had a really good week, maybe you've had a bit of a challenging week.
And then we do this thing where it's like, how full is your bucket?
0 and 1 would be the bucket is empty, we've got no worries, no concerns, we're ready to go.
We give young people the literacy to explain how they're feeling, and at times that is one of the biggest barriers, that they just can't vocalise what's happening for them.
And then 10 is feeling like the bucket's pretty full. Shake it out. Lovely, let's get going.
The physicality somehow brings new confidence. They can tackle difficult questions. Here, it's why is the onus on them to protect themselves at night.
Wear appropriate footwear. 2, stick to well-lit, busy routes.
The dance we're creating is about like women going out and feeling unsafe.
7, use your phone as a flashlight.
We researched it and watched videos and talked about Sarah Everard, you know, had these difficult conversations, and we dance it out and we find this like power.
These girls are choosing what they want to say, then through dance finding a way to say it. And that's translating into everyday life.
I feel more confident, and I can like have a say in stuff I want to say.
I've struggled quite a lot with like self-confidence and like actually being like me when I'm talking to people. And I think Project Female has helped me a lot with that. It's really made me who I am today.
Sarah Smith reporting there, and your money means Children in Need can fund Project Female for 3 years. We'd like to find out if you're raising money this time around. You can get in touch with us on WhatsApp or by emailing southeasttoday@bbc.co.uk. And you can join me for a special Children in Need programme at 6:30 tomorrow. Time now for a look at the weather. Sophia is with us. It's getting rather chilly, isn't it, Sophia?
It is getting rather chilly indeed, and it was chilly this morning, if you did notice as well. And we had a lot of mist and fog around, as captured nicely by our weather watchers, which took a little while to clear for some. But once it did, we had plenty of sunshine and blue skies there, some patchy cloud around in places. And that was the story really through the rest of the day. And it looks as though it's going to stay settled over the next couple of days or so. But then turning more unsettled, but through tonight, it is staying largely dry. We've got some clearer spells for a time, but look at those temperatures. It really does drop down. It's going to be a chilly night ahead of us. Temperatures at around freezing, so we could have some frost on the ground, could have some mist and murk around as well, which could take a little while to clear. A touch warmer towards the east of our patch, but still a rather chilly night across our patch. Now through the morning, once that mist and fog does clear away, we've got plenty of sunshine. It's going to be a settled day once again. We've got high pressure in charge. Temperatures pick up nicely during the day as well, around 10 to 12 Celsius at the high. And it is going to be dry as well. Now, through the night on Friday, it's the last supermoon of the year, and we've got great weather conditions for it. Clear skies as that cloud breaks away further. Some patchy clouds certainly in places, potentially some mist and fog. It's still going to be chilly, but not as chilly as it will be through tonight as well. So temperatures getting down to around 3 to 6 Celsius for most. Now, if there is some mist and fog through Saturday morning, could take a little while to clear once again. Once it does, we've got some brighter spells in between the cloud, but then more patchy cloud building in through the afternoon. Temperatures once again picking up around 10 to 12 Celsius. But then through the evening on Saturday, we've got a weak weather front moving in, sinking its way southeastwards. That's bringing some patchy light rain in places, quite a lot of cloud around too. And then you see this area of low pressure. That's going to be in charge through Sunday. So we've got some rain in the forecast, and towards the beginning of next week as well. Could get quite windy for a time, could have some thundery showers at times as well. But as we look to next week, you can see this polar air building in from the north, and it's going to get chilly. Temperatures right down to the early single figures, and we could have some wintry showers in the forecast. Ellie.
All this talk about pantos and wintry showers is making me feel very Christmassy very early this year. Thank you very much, Sophia. That is it. Ian Palmer is back at 10:30. Bye-bye.